What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Honkai Star Rail video. All right, guys, if you have not done so already, the pre-release install came out yesterday. Make sure you get it on whatever platform you plan to play or multiple platforms. I'm going to do mobile, PC personally. A lot of you are going to do BlueStacks as well. So some of the emulators for multi-instance recruiting or summoning, I should say. So make sure you're on that now. Get it in advance because I believe day one, the servers are going to be slammed. So uh, get those downloads in. That's all I can really recommend. Okay, now the whole purpose of this video is because how close we are in terms of release date. It's coming out in so for Eastern time it's on the 25th at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. So I'll be going live on that day if you want to come join me for the stream. But if you are going to plan to play on your own, that's when it's happening for Eastern time. You can check out on the actual Honkai website to see what time it releases for your time zone. So definitely check that out because it says the 26th, but that's 10 a.m. 26th in CST, which is Chinese Standard Time. Okay, so check it out and make sure you know when your game is dropping if you plan to play live. Now, here's the thing: we talked about the reroll process. A lot of you are still going to do multi-instance, and some of you are going to just do natural OG way of rerolling, and that's playing through the tutorial the entire way, which is 40 minutes long. And then if you don't get what you want, start again with another account. I want to do something a little different here and talk about if the 4-star units are viable and why they're actually worthwhile holding on to rather than re-rolling for the 5 stars. Now, if you want to re-roll, completely up to you, right? We're not going to stop you on doing that. For us who actually want to play the game, continue with the story, I want to talk about the 4 stars and why they're useful. Okay, you guys saw the tier list. Not much has changed regarding the tier list, okay? There have been a couple modifications to some units, mostly 5-star units like Bronya and Welt, just as examples, and Himiko. Some of the columns have obviously changed, but the 4 stars pretty much remain almost untouched. So, assuming that nothing else goes on, we're going to talk about the 4 stars and why they're worth having. Okay, and then we're going to go into the DPS ranking here and kind of show you how much damage the 4 stars can do compared to some of the 5 stars. All right, so let's talk about not all of them. We're going to talk about mostly the ones that are going to make an impact on your account. Okay, so Dan Heng is the first one. As you see here with the ratings, it's A, and B. Don't be fooled by this also because he's one of the earliest and only wind units you're going to get for a very long time, which means in this game, Elemental Break is a huge factor in terms of how far you can progress against a lot of bosses and enemies. Because he's the only wind unit for a long time, he's going to be one of the ones you want to build for pretty soon, actually. So if you do get him, and remember, you do get quite a few 4 stars for free just by playing storyline and just continuing through progress. He's going to take you pretty far. Now, obviously, you're going to want to get the 5-star. If you do get a 5-star, you're going to replace him if you have a 5-star wind. But for now, Dan Heng is going to be the only wind unit at 4-star if you don't pull a 5. And he is going to be the one that's going to do a lot of elemental breaks during those times where you have to use him against other units that are weak against wind. All right, moving on to Mark 7. Now, Mark 7 is a really good support unit and freeze unit. So a great way of using her is to essentially every time there's a big attack coming onto one of your allies, or where you need support, she has a fantastic freezing mechanic where you can freeze enemies before they even get a chance to hit you. So Mark 7 is going to be a big part of your team for crowd control, specifically crowd control. Okay, so definitely focus on her if you get her. Easily one of the better units out there for a 4-star, especially, and will last you quite some time. Now, I want to preface this real quick. This is upon release. If they release a new character and banner that power creeps all of these units, we won't know that, right? But for now, to get the most out of these units, these are the ones you want to use for sure. All right, next up is Natasha. Super easy, cheap heals, cheap ultra, good AoE healing, good support unit. Again, no cost almost to get her. So Natasha is a really solid unit for heals. Definitely want to get her if you're going to be needing a healer in your team and you can't get a 5-star healer, but that's one of the ones you want to for sure grab. Okay, Serval is going to be your classic AoE damage dealer. Amazing for farming. Everybody needs an AoE unit for farming, so Serval is going to be your go-to for that, especially when you're farming material, Trailblazer level, EXP, whatever the case may be, right? Serval is going to be your go-to for all farming purposes because she is an amazing AoE damage dealer, probably on par with some of the 5 stars even, okay? Sushang is a physical single target dealer. Incredible DPS. Like, we're talking about probably top 4 or 5 DPS in the game. Unfortunately, if you do get a 5-star after you pick her, the 5-star will replace her if it's a similar DPS type, like a hunt type, like Seeley, for example. if you do get her, like you're set for a long time. Or even Jingwan. So Su Shang, though, on the other hand, if you don't get any 5 stars, is probably going to be your carry for DPS for, again, a very, very long time until you get that 5-star DPS that's going to replace her. But you can safely invest into this unit and get the most bang for your buck from this 4-star for sure. And I'll show you guys some DPS rankings done by a specific YouTuber and then vetted by a Prideman, okay? And then lastly, probably the best unit out of all of them is Ting Yun. Easily. Like, farming, bosses, general, etc. This is the unit that will give 5 stars a run for their money. As a matter of fact, probably better than some of the 5-star units out there. So realistically, this is the 4-star you want to go for. If you have any options and you somehow pull this unit, you're set. Don't even worry about getting a 5-star. Focus on Ting Yun and get her up as much as you can. She's a buffer. She does energy regeneration. She does incredible damage. She's everything you want in a unit in a 4-star package, which should really be a 5-star, to be quite honest. So all 4 stars here, guys, are viable. The ones I especially spoke about are going to be your best ones to take you the furthest into the game, but all 4 stars are viable. This game is built to allow you to use these 4 stars to get to end game and still do well enough in end game to enjoy it, right? You're not forced to pull 5 stars in this game in order to conquer and beat the game, right? So keep that in mind. These 4 stars are all great compositions in a team and will take you just as far as you need to go until maybe an update or a brand new banner is required, or until you pull that coveted 5-star that you're looking for. All right, DPS rankings. So again, real quick here, shout out to Grimro YouTube. You can check him out. He does insane number crunching and a lot of testing on these units. His channel's just growing from this, so give him a shout out. Subscribe to his channel. Now, he did actually the calculations, and then Pridewind did the final checkups. Okay. So the rules here are based on information from the final beta and subject to change on release. The simulations showcase charge damage potential in the 7-cycle turn, the limit of Forgotten Hall. For those familiar with the Spiral Abyss from Genshin Impact, it's incredibly similar mode, okay? So the simulation rules are right here. You can check everything out. Is a 7-turn simulation, 750 action points. Enemies are considered to always have a break bar, resulting in units all doing 90% of real damage. Due to some units having mechanics around break, the enemies are simulated to be broken for the purpose of these characters' abilities. So you can read all the stuff here. All units are level 80. Traces are all unlocked. Skills are all level 10 and basic at level 6. Characters with F2P Eidolons are unlocked. All other characters' Eidolons are 0, just to make it square across the board, okay? And you can tell here the damage formula is done as well, too. So you can read the base damage and defense multiplier, res multiplier, damage taken, and toughness multiplier, okay? Just in case you were curious about how these numbers are shown. But what I want to go through, because a lot of you won't even care about that, you're going to care about the numbers themselves, is where the 4 stars rank. Okay, so there's Seeley, like I mentioned, very close to Yanqing. They're pretty much on par. But here you go. Su Shang is what I was talking about, right? As a 4-star, keeping up with the 5 stars, like not that much off either. We're talking about like a very minuscule amount. So as a DPS, if you get her, so if you get Su Shang, you're set for a long time. Jing Yuan is an AoE unit, so he's going to do a little less. Hook is another 4-star unit that does pretty good damage. And there's Dan Heng. I was mentioning you the only wind unit you get for a while. Look at that. Arlen, damage-wise. Bronya. Now, Bronya's a hybrid DPS, so she's more of a buffer as much as she is as DPS. So can't really consider that, but higher than Welt. Sample is also a 4-star, higher than Himiko. Serval, as you can see here, is an AoE unit as well. So as an AoE unit, it's a lot harder to compete with Hunts, which are single target DPS. And then there's the Trailblazer, who is the physical main character you get. You get the fire version eventually as a tank, and then you have Herta here. Okay, so Clara is down here. She's missing because her damage output depends on how many times she gets hit in a turn. So yeah, you can see pretty insane damage from here. Chunquei is another special case. Again, is impossible to simulate due to her RNG-based kit. So a couple of characters here are definitely not going to be part of it. But as I mentioned, Su Shang, that's, if you want DPS, that's who you want to go for. Hook is pretty good too. Dan Heng, you're going to get free, I believe, so you can get him up right away. Arlen's decent. And then, of course, you have Sampo, which I think comes later, and then Serval for farming. So there you guys have it. A lot of 4-star units you can use in order to progress in the game. Don't worry too much about re-rolling if you don't want to spend the time doing so. These guys are going to push your limits and your account to end game anyways, and you'll have plenty of chances to summon along the way. All right, guys, it's Payne. Hope this video helped you out. I'll see you guys in the next one.